welcome to episode 69, part 1 of Kenya's premier sports video podcast, the Three Quarters Podcast. As usual, we'd like to remind you to jump onto the hashtag Road to Japan to support the Kenya Simbas as they're still looking to qualify for the Rugby World Cup in 2019 in Japan. I'm Tamima Duffield.
And I'm Ngara Kamuya.
So, the big 60, anyway. Enterprise Cup semi-finals.
Yeah.
And our feature game was KCB versus Homeboyz at the Lions Den. 12-10 to Homeboyz. This is the first time we've seen KCB lose in the 2017-2018 season.
Yeah.
And I must say, I mean, yes, I've got a lot of friends who play at KCB, but I did want Homeboyz to win.
I mean, as you've said, finally KCB has lost in the 2017-2018 season. I think very many people wanted to see that, as you've aptly put it, including yourself. I think, for lack of a better word, the dominance was irritating some people. And you could see how elated people were when the final whistle went and Homeboyz had won the tie. But look, Homeboyz started with intent. Got 2 quick tries, and that's what I think, by the way, killed KCB. They got 2 quick tries through Alvin Bufa, Otieno, sorry, and Polycarp Odhiambo. And then KCB clawed their way back into the game within touching distance, of course, 12-10. Then it was just a game, it was a slugfest after that. Yep. And Homeboyz, what we've been saying has affected the Homeboyz in the last few years is actually what we saw work for them on the day. They were very mature, they were very disciplined. I remember at some point we were waiting for a penalty. Yeah, we were waiting.
And it just wouldn't come.
Yeah, we were waiting for a penalty. They were very disciplined. They did not, cause unnecessary infringements that would have allowed KCB back into the game. And what Homeboyz have been doing, we saw now from KCB. KCB were by far not anywhere close to what we are used to seeing them. And I know the excuse some of the people are giving is that, we had many of our players playing for the Simbas. But look, last weekend, that was the same thing you said. Like, we have depth to the point that we can afford to lose X amount of players to the Simbas and still be able to beat you. That's number one. Number two, I think about the 2017 Floodlight tournament. They actually played with a second string team because most of their players were in Hong Kong with the Simbas and they were able to win it. So it's not an excuse. They were bad on the day. And they have to accept that, and I think Homeboyz wanted it a bit more than they did. There's also the fact, look, also Homeboyz had serious personnel. Oscar Ayodi.
Although he came on at the end. He didn't score anything. I don't think he made much of a difference.
Yeah, but Leonard Mugaisi was there. Michael Wanjala was there. So they had a solid squad. You can't take that away from Homeboyz. But on the day, I think Homeboyz did deserve to win. And it's good. At least you see some hard work paying off because they have been there. They have, 2016-2017 Kenya Cup semi-finalists, 2017-2018 Kenya Cup semi-finalists.
Yeah. It was about
Enterprise
time.
Cup 2017 semi-finalists. It was about time that they got to the final. So on the day, they did deserve the win.
Yep. For a pretty, let's say, young team. They didn't start. They didn't form, Homeboyz wasn't formed a million years ago. So I think, for how far they've come in this period, I think they've done pretty well. They have done pretty well. And it goes back to what we keep saying. You run an organization, you are definitely going to see the results on the pitch. Homeboyz is one of the, I think, better organized or run teams that we see in the Kenya Cup. And it's good to see such stuff paying off, right? So, kudos to Homeboyz. It's been hard, I know, but it's worth it, I think. Now they have a seat at the table. It's not yet theirs, but they now have a seat at the table, and they'll be able, to battle it out and see if they're going to be the 2018 Enterprise Cup champions. Yeah. So we also had another game, which was the Kabras versus Impala game at Kabras. Yeah. And Kabras won that game. Oh my God, I am so used to saying that. Well, yes, another upset.
Yeah.
So Impala won that game 16-30.
Yes.
And I think I was reading the match report, and at some point I think Impala had 13 unanswered points. Now that is something.
It is something. And to win in Kabras, it's no mean feat. Yes, I do understand, and you're going to make whatever comments you can make, but Yes, Kabras don't have a couple of their guys. Again, same problem with KCB, but that's not an excuse. You're playing at home. They still had a very decent squad. You know, the likes of Fabian Orlando was there, Edwin Achayo was there. So it's not an excuse for them to have lost to Impala. But if there's any team, first, I think about Kabras being Impala's boogie team. Mm-hmm. But if there's any team that was going to beat Kabras at Kabras, it was going to be Impala, and they showed again their quality side. Yeah.
Yep. Well done to them. I think this is going to be a thrilling final.
Yes.
This is one that people are actually going to want to go and see because you don't know who's going to win it.
Yes, you don't know who's going to win it. It's different brands of rugby. It's different.
Very different brands of rugby.
Different brands of rugby. Different. I'm thinking. Okay, fine. I'll say different brands of rugby,
yes.
Different temperament. That's the word I was looking for in terms of the players. Mm-hmm. So it's I mean, old guys in Impala and the new boys in Homeboyz. So it's definitely going to be an interesting final. How do I call it? If Impala, okay, in terms of mental strength, in terms of maturity, in terms of knockout rugby, I think Impala have the upper hand, and Impala will be able to beat Homeboyz. But if the Homeboyz that played this past weekend shows up, then it's going to be very tough for Impala. Yep. And I see Homeboyz winning. Actually, I had a chat with Impala chairman Bill Gidinji after the game, and he was like, "Look, it's not going to be easy. I can't call this one. So it's going to be a tough one." As I've said, based on what we know right now, I think Impala are the ones with the upper hand. But if Homeboyz for Saturday shows up, then
it's going to be a tough.
It's going to be a tough.
I think I also agree with you. The only thing that I think Homeboyz might have an upper hand with is they've got quite a few young players coming into the coming in rather.
Yes.
And when you don't know a player, you don't know what they're capable of. Mm-hmm. But you see with Impala, we've known most, even the young boys, because they started quite early and we saw them in Team 3, we saw them in Team 2, we know how they play. Mm-hmm. So it's easier to predict what someone will do.
Yeah.
But when you've got an unpredictable side,
then oh my God, it's going to be chaotic. You've got an unpredictable side. But look, Enterprise Cup final, of course, this Saturday, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping you guys are looking forward to it too. Why don't you tell us who you think is going to win that final? You can do this by following us on Instagram, liking our page on Facebook, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. I'm Denira Duffield.
And I'm Narakamwe.
See you in part 2.
You ready?
Yep.
Action.
You've never said action.
What's happening?
You've just never said action.
Oh!
I don't know, it's making me laugh. Right. Okay. Let me just finish.
That means it's not that funny.
It's not. Imagine it's not. Now it's just like.
When you start laughing, you can't stop laughing. Because I said action.
Whatever, yo. I started and then, okay, so now I'm good. I go now. What joy. I'd stopped my...